is all happening at an atomic level, where this is a part of exploiting the astral field and the first dimensional bodies of the Earth's field, and contributing to the rips and times in the space continuums, and just more of the harvesting of souls and luge energy in the Earth's field. It's running an Aquilan gate system close to the Georgia Guidestones, that rock eagle effigy mound that's right next to, it's about an hour and 40 minutes southwest of the Georgia Guidestones.
Stuff is amazing. Have you got yours yet? So I've been putting a scoop in my coffee every morning for breakfast, and not only does it taste great, but it also boosts my metabolism. Get yours, ketowithleek.com. For a limited time, 51% off and free shipping in the US for Leak Project listeners. You'll be glad you did. How does this work? It works by increasing the ketone levels in your body, which in return boosts your metabolism. And if you do the research, after the age of 20, your body's metabolism slows down about 4% a year. Get yours. You'll be glad you did. Get the discount, ketowithleek.com, and be the change you want to see, everybody.
In the direction of the southwest stone that's going interdirectionally, that's running the Hebrew language on the stone inscription. So Hebrew bringing through Elohim energy. This is directly parallel to this location here. And I do feel that this is an Aquilan Stargate site. They do not know who made this. They said it's been here for over 1,000 years. They say that the birdmen brought it here, is what the natives say. When I was there and I was like channeling the energy, I was picking up on Nephilim, winged Nephilim giants that actually created this intuitively, psychically. That's what I felt had originally potentially created this. And so I definitely feel that this is an Aquilan Stargate. And I think this is a reverse portal. It's running clockwise and anti-clockwise funnels. And it's also running current-wise, what I picked up ley line-wise, because what I see the Georgia Guidestone is it's operating off of a Curie system. And a Curie system is globally, it's a radial atomic nuclear holographic matrix that runs currents from the northeast to southwest. Well, this is in a northeast to southwest direction to the Georgia Guidestones. And it just so happens to be a Aquilan energetic gate system. So it's and I was channeling all of this, intuiting all of this before I even realized this gate system was here with this rock effigy mound. So I was like, I can't make this stuff up. I cannot make this stuff up. It just, you intuit it and then it appears and you're like, am I going crazy? But yeah, so it is really, really interesting how this is all interconnected here. So
you remote viewed the Georgia Guidestones, and this is kind of what you were picking up.
Right. Yes, that is correct. So you can see I have the north, the south, the east, and the west here. The stones are all anchored in interdirectionally, and I feel like the beings who designed the Georgia Guidestones, which I feel this came through Khazarian, Mafia 13 bloodline. I do believe the history of the Georgia Guidestones ties into Madame Blavatsky as well. Like they say a guy named Ted Turner actually financed them, and it was all because of something that had to do with his mother or his grandmother, and his grandmother was from Dnipro, Ukraine, and so they're speculating that his grandmother was actually Madame Blavatsky. And so it also goes back to King George. King George is like the original energy basis for Georgia, the name of Georgia, and also Georgia of Russia as well. So it all ties into like that current events with things that are going on with Russia. But I think that they installed these interdirectionally because anything that's going north, south, east, or west is pulling currents from what is the 4 pillars of man codes, holographically. It's an earth matrix. It's called the Lemurian encoding in the earth. So it's more of an organic system. So I think they installed them interdirectionally to kind of work off that more undetectable type magic within the earth's field. But essentially what I think they're doing is this capstone here is basically the ritual platter. And this is where they're doing, Luciferian and satanic ritualization. They did find blood stains and blood spatters on the top of this ritual platter here. There's a lot of pictures of this like online if you were to look for that. But I think that they harvest on top of that ritual platter, and then they also have this aligned, this top platter here to the celestial pole. So they're anchoring energy in there. And then they're also running solar energy horizontally. Here is what I had picked up on, and that this all comes through at the highest alignment at noon. And then they funnel this energy down through this intelligent spiral here that comes down that lunar shaft into a nuclear pool reservoir here at the bottom. And yeah, so it's and this is what I think this is all happening at an atomic level, where this is a part of exploiting the astral field and the first dimensional bodies of the Earth's field, and contributing to the rips and times in the space continuums, and just more of the harvesting of souls and luge energy in the Earth's field. Also off to the left here, there's a little capstone. And when I was speaking to the locals there in Georgia, they were telling me that they actually have seeds that they put underneath the another capsule there. So I don't know if they got genetically modified seeds or if they got some good seeds in there, but basically it's there so that way if there's a great reset in humanity, that they can dig up this time capsule and have seeds and also a manual to restart humanity, but under an Aquilan controlled system, under Aquilan controlled militarization. And that's what they're hoping to reinstall or reestablish come a great reset, basically. And I think it's all Aquilan based, which is going to reinstall the father principle, the militarization control structures, and also do that through, brute force domination and control. And if you look at the state of Georgia in itself, it is fascinating. I did a big decode on Denver, Colorado, because Denver, Colorado is, you have DIA and you have a very extensive underground militarization complex there as well, going into the mountains and things like this.
But they have the craziest reptile parties underneath the airport. It's insane. Toga reptiles. What people don't get though, folks, is most of them are vegans. They don't like the taste of people. I'm just saying.
No, man. Yeah, it's a trip. The airport. I mean, I'll tell you though, if you're a reptile, 300 days of sunshine and beautiful landscapes. Not all reptiles are bad. Come on, folks. But anyway, I'm just joking around. But let's talk about the Denver airport.
Yeah. No, I agree. Not all reptiles are bad, for sure. Well, it's I think is that the Denver International Airport and the Atlanta International Airport are both two states dedicated to post-cataclysmic events and for the setup of that militarization afterwards. And I think they're both interconnected, but I think they're running from two different facets. I think DIA is running from a more Draco-faceted system. Atlanta is an Aquilan RAN system, but yet they support one another in the alien collaborations that they're running, essentially. But yeah, I think Denver is, Denver has a big swastika on the runway. I don't know. Yeah, if you want to zoom into the swastika.
No, the runway is a swastika. It's shaped, yeah. The whole runway is shaped that way. But we got to remember, is it a swastika or is it the reverse? Because if you take the ancient symbol of a reverse swastika, actually what the swastika did is they reversed this ancient sacred symbol, which is a spiral of life, and then they reversed it. So I'll have to go back and double check that. But, you have to kind of question, do you ever wonder if like the Nazis, did they really lose, or did they just infiltrate, other countries and use other nations as like the Fourth and Fifth Reich? I've questioned that oftentimes. They might've lost the battle, but did they lose the full war? I don't know.
I think they just evolved. I have a saying for the Nazis that they're the not-sees. They're the ones we cannot see, and they are also the ones that cannot see. So it's elusive. It's an illusion. But yeah, I think they've just evolved, and I think it's what you just said.
wild to think about. But if you look at the top levels of many of these industries, especially in the pharmaceutical industries and the chemical industries and the rocket industries and the intelligence agencies, it's quite fascinating. But anyway, so I want to go back to this. I want to look at this again. And this was the remote viewing session that essentially, when you remote viewed the Georgia Guidestones, you were picking up on these different vortexes underneath. And then you're also showing us something here. What is this? Is this the Denver airport as well as other locations? Or what are we looking at here? No, that's not the Denver airport. That's too far north.
I'm exiting this full screen. Yeah, so that was some locations that I had charted according to the Georgia Guidestones locations and some surrounding areas that I think are creating that Aquilan militarization complex for what they're preparing for, come cataclysmic, reset. Some of the locations here, I actually sent you a link to my map that I charted on Scribbles map. You can actually navigate that map a little bit better. So these would be just pictures, but I don't know if you have that link. It was in the email, but it would take you to my Scribbles map that I charted, and it would allow you to navigate the map a little more, and you can even zoom in.
Saw that, but the link was broken. I'll double check it again.
Oh, was it? Oh no.
Stand by. Might be pulling up now on Scribble Maps. Being slow.
Yeah, I usually chart everything because it just helps me to be able to see it more. Yeah, I love Scribbles Maps. It's amazing. Oh, awesome. You got it. So yeah, you can definitely zoom into that. It's a little touchy though.
The Appalachian Trail, huh?
Yes. Okay, there's some stuff about that one. Let me tell you. So I feel that this is an extensive underground tunneling system from Georgia to Maine. And I think they're using this as a secret passageway for militarization and other forms of industrial globalization moves. And what's interesting about this is it does run right through Washington, D.C. So I think this may be secret tunneling through Washington, D.C. to the Appalachian underground tunneling systems. And I think that, again, they're using that nuclear subterranean, tunneling energy. They're using boring machines. This is how they're designing these interior networks. And these machines are designed to melt away through the rock and soil and lead like a neat glass tunnel. So I think this is a key point in the Georgia Guidestone system, underground secret system that they have, usually using that nuclear powering systems. Oh. I think this is all about nuclear energy in the astral, at least on a spiritual level, and this is what's defining all of this astral warfare. And I think they're using that nuclear energy to power out the underground tunnels. And so the Appalachian Trail, there's also...
Wait, did you just say you think they're using energy that they're harvesting from the trail to power the nuclear boring machines? Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they just use nuclear energy? Or why wouldn't they just...
Well, they're using nuclear powered boring machines, but on a spiritual level, it's also through nuclear atomic energy, because there's also nuclear atomic energy in the earth fields as well. And it's all accumulative, and it's all connected to each other. And it draws off of one another into the spiritual realms. And so I think it's these, as we create nuclear powered machines that bore out the inner earth space, we're also creating nuclear atomic spiritual response in the astral fields and the earth's matrix and planetary fields as well. And as we use more nuclear powered energy in this 3D, we're also experiencing more nuclear powered responses in the spiritual astral field, is what I guess is kind of the point I'm trying to make. But I did say that really, really quickly. And so I think on atomic level, it's all related, and it's all connected. And that's why I think I was seeing those nuclear pools accumulating underneath the Georgia Guidestones. It's more of an atomic collection of nuclear energy, because it's pulling spiritual nuclear energy from all of these locations, such as Fukushima and Chernobyl, because all of these current events are connected. And then, you go into the World War Z, and we have all these current events that are playing out with Russia, and there's all of this warfare over the nuclear sites and claiming these nuclear sites, because they want to use these nuclear sites as weapons, as weaponization. They can actually use old nuclear sites to create nuclear powered clouds and use this as bioweapons to attack other militarized systems or other nations, and do other types of attacks this way. And why I think this is all nuclear based as well. So if you look at the Georgia the whole entire state as a whole. We're on Denver International Airport. Yeah. Okay, we'll go back to Georgia. So down in Georgia, there's a lot of nuclear focused attention. So Kings Bay Naval Submarine Base in Mary, Georgia. This location is a heightened area for paranormal investigations. It's a submarine museum, but essentially it's a nuclear powered submarine station. It's right there down at the right corner. Yep, right there. Yep, that's it. Naval Submarine Base. I think they're drawing energy from this place. And what's interesting is it has a spiritual component to it too. Is it's called the Trident. And so it's a Trident nuclear powered submarine facility.
Wow. Right there on the border of Florida. This would be a great place for, you know what? This would be a great place for subs to come in. And I was told by somebody that's high level that they've actually got submarines underneath the US. They've got waterways that are way below the crust, below the surface, and submarines, even like you've heard of submarines in the desert, possibly. Well, if they got submarines in the desert because of underwater systems out there, then this would be the perfect place. I could absolutely see why they would have a naval operations there. That's perfect right there. They come in, they got boats that come in. If there's some entrances there that would go into oceans or underwater, underland waterways. That's fascinating. Absolutely incredible.
I know it's all I had to do was just follow the nuclear energy on this, and everything just started appearing. I just followed nuclear energy. Well, because they have one of the largest nuclear power plants in Georgia as well. It's called the Vogel power plant, and they've been adding 3 and 4 nuclear units in the United States in the last 3 decades. It's the only nuclear power plant that they've been adding to in the last 3 decades, and it's within 60 miles of the Georgia Guidestones. And that was the one on the map that was a little bit higher. Also, Kennesaw Mountain. Okay, this is what blew my mind. Kennesaw Mountain, and this is not very far from the Georgia Guidestones. It's said to have an underground rocket facility and a junior Pentagon, and it's where the elaborate headquarters would be installed to direct southern U.S. enemy from attack if the Pentagon was to go down in Washington, D.C. They're said to have SAGE radar facilities inside Kennesaw Mountain with a semi-automatic air defense center. And so it's highly extensive. I had no idea Georgia was set up like this. And
think about it. The Walking Dead is filmed in Georgia. Hello. What are they telling us?
Oh yeah. Wow.
It all starts in Georgia, folks. The zombie outbreak.
Yeah, basically, it's so crazy. With Kennesaw Mountain too in Georgia, they said that the reason why they're able to actually get so much there is because there's a Dobbin Air Force Base, and so this is how they got all the equipment to build. Is they entered through the Air Force Base here, and brought all of stuff in and out secretly, to do that.
Are you at work?
No. That was yeah, no. Yeah, I am actually.
Ding dong. I'll be right with you, sir.
That's my
Cool.
customer.
Okay. Do you need to go? Do you need to get that?
No, that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Another thing about Georgia too is they have 2 underground FEMA camps.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Underground FEMA camps are awesome.
I know.
How'd you hear about that? That sounds like a pretty powerful urban legend. Where did you get that information?
Research,
No,
lots of research. With this, there's a book that I read. I don't actually have the name of it. I'd have to look it up, but I can give you links to some of my references when I get done with you today, so that way you can put it in the description or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll just email it to you. But yeah, 96 underground FEMA camps all over the US, secret ones. Georgia has 2 of them.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard about these FEMA camps for years. I mean, they've talked about them for years, and there's been, I mean, even documentaries that were supposed to come out talking about FEMA camps, and then something mysterious happens to the producer, and they're probably there. I mean, the question is, how do we confirm it, and do we even want to confirm it? Because like, if we find it, then what? I mean, I went past in Colorado, they had an old concentration camp, an internment camp that they put the Japanese at. And no Japanese were ever convicted of espionage after the war that were locked up. Those that were locked up were never convicted, and they lost their lives. They lost their businesses. They lost their families. They were put in terrible conditions. And it wasn't like some of the Jewish people and some of the people in Germany had to go through, but it was still really, really, really bad. And, they thought, well, we're in America. It can't happen here. Right? That's what they want you to think. What's America? It can't happen here. Well, folks, unfortunately, it could happen. And let's do what we can to make sure that it doesn't, because nobody wins in war. Nobody wins in war in the long run.
Well, it just makes you wonder, a lot of people ask, well, why don't these Georgia Guidestones just get ripped down? I mean, people ask that, and it's just like, I think the question to be asked is, what are we becoming in this age of reason? That's what it says on the Georgia Guidestones. These are guidelines to guide us into the age of reason by keeping the population at 500,000 or 500 million. 500 million. 500 million. I think what that means is there's only going to be 500 million organic humans left on this earth.
Dude, did you hear the thing that I did the other day on the Georgia Guidestones? Like 4 days ago?
Yeah, I watched part of it.
I said that exactly. I said, you know what, folks? I said, because so many people have speculated, it's these Guidestones are saying that they want to just, wipe out 7.5 billion people. That's not what they're saying. They're saying that 500 million people. They don't say how you get there. And they don't say, like, I was thinking, okay, maybe they're going to take 7.5 billion people and put them in rockets and launch them in, put them in spaceships and have them live in the universe. Maybe they're going to download them into pods and have them like digital interface, because it does say 500 million people in perpetual balance with nature, but it's not saying wipe out 95% of the population. I still don't like it. I don't like it, folks. I'm not sticking up for it. I'm looking at all of the different variables instead of just saying, oh, I've got they're telling us right there that they're going to wipe out 95% of the earth. No, they're not saying that. They might actually be something like a major cataclysm that takes place, a major solar flare, a pole shift. And then those that rebuild the earth, well, they come out of their caves and they're like, you got zombies. There's a few, because you're in Georgia, right? It's where it all happens. The Walking Dead. You've got zombies that are, all the zombies are dead. And those people that remain alive, they're like, look, that's what we must do. Come on. I don't know. Is that it? Did God put that there? Is that our new Bible, mommy? Is that dad? What do we got? I mean, come on, really? I don't know. I think it was kind of like a power trip. The more I think about it, I think it was a power trip for some really rich Americans, because they said we're that's what it says in the guides. Americans, a small group of Americans for reason. So I think it was just some really rich people that are like, we're gonna troll the world.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's esoteric. It is, but it's just like, how far do you take it? You know what I mean? It's, I'm not going to let it ruin my day. If anything, it's going to put a fire behind me, and I'm going to say, I'm going to make the Colorado life stones to off, we're going to come up with the opposite just to make it balanced.
Yeah. That's what you were saying, that you were going to, were they actually erecting something in Colorado, or you were?
I'm doing this. With your help and others. We're gonna erect the Colorado life stones, and we're gonna put some really cool opportunities in the. We're not gonna call them guide stones. We're gonna call them life stones, either life stones or light stones. What do you think?
No, I really like it, and but. I think if you did that, you definitely would want to work with granite and get because granite is like 75% silica based. There's something in the silica component that really enhances the spiritual aspect of how something would carry into an eternal or an immortal manifestation in the energy, in the astral field, and in the planetary field, because this is the technology that they're using. I mean, this is how they're generating the AI. I mean, this is where they have the Silicon Valley. I mean, all of the sand there is, predominantly silicate. And then you have the Applegate spaceship there. And I think this is how they're generating this and making this as part of like the human collective spiritual psyche, is by using the silica component to what they're working with alchemically.
Great point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right next to the city of Los Angeles. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's all starting to make sense now.
Yeah, they're harvesting there. That's a harvesting station, because that's a descending grid. I mean, all of those homeless people, all of the all the people who are they're basically, lost their way, and they're harvesting the energy off of those people there. And those are the people who become victimized to the Trinity sites, which are sites that harvest souls and basically feed off the loose energy of their spiritual body. And so, yeah, it's a huge distance. I call it a bleeding grid. It's bleeding there. There's a lot of dissension energy, dissension cycles, and most of that is going right into the first and second dimensional astral field in the Earth's collective spiritual collective field. And yeah, it's all about raising the frequency. We got to raise the frequency of the Earth's field, the Earth's landmass, the Earth's consciousness, every other people's consciousness, those around us. We got to get people's spiritual sacred knowledge, spiritual sacred wisdom. We got to get people's frequency up. That's how we do this. That's how we turn this whole thing around. And but a lot of people lose hope. A lot of people have lost hope, at least in March. March is a tough, tumultuous month. A lot of people are getting attacked in the astral, because there's a lot of warfare going on in the astral. When people go to sleep at night, they're unconsciously going into astral warfare. If you're waking up tired, you're waking up feeling sick, you're waking up feeling like you didn't rest, well, you probably were at warfare in the astral the night before. And your astral field can actually get sick itself. There can be like death screens inserted into your own astral field that actually keep your shields down, so that way you keep constantly getting attacked. And if you are someone who's carrying genetically persecution codes, crucifixion codes, that you're already tagged. You're tagged to get located in the astral, to get hammered by these energies and take you out. That's what's happening. And this is all coming from these World War II, World War Z areas, major dissension cycles, like in Poland, in Germany, where we had all of the sites. What are they called? The sites where all this stuff happened. From World War II, concentration camps and things like this. these are areas that have still a lot of trauma locked into the grids. And there are areas in the grids that actually haven't fully healed in the Earth's planetary Akashic field. And so this continues to keep those things active through planetary ascension cycles. When warfare cycles come back around through the months of basically December through March every single year, and the lower portals open up to the fallen systems in the fallen realms. And so it's a lot. I could go on and on about that. But
I mean, it's very interesting. A lot of the verbiage that you're using, I haven't heard before. So I was, trying to connect like what the definitions were. But I find it, it's all fascinating. And I mean, it's always great to send positive energy into the world and to help others. And I do want to let people know, if you go to the website, IndigoAngel222.com, you can check out more of what IndigoAngel has to offer, the different services, as well as the different planetary readings and chakra readings, as well as chakra clearing. So I did see my chakras under a Kirlian photograph, and I saw my friends. And I mean, I could even see the details in her chakras all the way up. It was fascinating, just like you'll see on some of the ancient Hindu stuff. It looked identical. It was fascinating. How did they know that kind of stuff? Because now you can take a photograph and you can actually use certain technologies to see chakras. How did the ancients know that? They did. How did they know that the top chakra was the highest vibrational frequency, which is ultraviolet? That can be proven. And that the lowest is like a burgundy, is like a dark red. It's at the root chakra. It's just incredible how the occult connects with technology, or how you can use technology to confirm the occult. It's fascinating. So let's leave this on an awesome note. Like, let's leave this on a really happy note. And what would you like to share with the audience? And thank you for sharing all the stuff you did with the Guidestones and the remote viewing you did on that. That was incredible.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. I was so excited to come on and talk with you and share this with you. But yeah, just thank you so much for having me here. And to everyone, I think it's all about just raising your vibration. It's all about keeping your frequency high, all these things that I talked about, the astral warfare and all this stuff. It's, there's a lot of things you can do to protect and seal your light body field, and also enhance your astral field, so that way you're not getting attacked and have all of, have this affect you more detrimentally for what's going on on a planetary level. And all of that, I do lots of sessions one-on-one to assist people with these things. And so if anybody wanted to work with me to do that, the deep chakra clearing is one of those that I teach about interdimensional mechanics and how to navigate those dimensions internally. And so it was such a pleasure to be here, and hopefully maybe we could do some shows in the future. I do often have a lot of cosmic grid updates that I keep up on regularly that I'd love to share with you.
Yeah, that'd be great. Absolutely. Please keep me posted, and looking forward to speaking to you again in the future. And I do want to thank everybody for being here with us on the website live, always unedited, uncensored, free. And you can ask the guests and myself questions. And folks, I'm looking forward to seeing you again soon.
Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you.